But if you are a fan of football to its core, I'm talking about beyond the quarterback, beyond the wide receiver, beyond the running backs, beyond the skill positions and flashy plays. I'm talking about the nitty gritty, grimy, greasy, bloody, muddy trenches. This is the football game for you. What up, though, and welcome to Easy. I am Lions Nation Unite. Today, we are breaking down the Cleveland Browns versus the Detroit Lions this Sunday in Ford Field. And if you are a fan of football, and I get it, everyone's a fan of football. It's the most popular sport in Northern America. All right. But if you are a fan of football to its core, I'm talking about beyond the quarterback, beyond the wide receiver, beyond the running backs, beyond the skill positions and flashy plays. I'm talking about the nitty gritty, grimy, greasy, bloody, muddy trenches. This is the football game for you. If you are a football lover, this is the football game for you. And I'm going to tell you why, on top of who I think is going to win this one, on top of why I think they're going to win this one, and how it's going to go down. All right. And I'm going to start first and foremost with just what I love about this game is you get to see an all-pro caliber defensive end, if not arguably the best defensive end in the National Football League when it comes to all-around play. I'm talking about getting after the quarterback, stuffing a run. I mean, last week, I don't know if you guys saw this viral clip. I can't play because it's NFL Films, but the left tackle, of the Green Bay Packers, who I don't think we got a sack on them, by the way. We played them, and I like our defensive line too. We sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. I don't think we got a single sack on Jordan Love, if I remember correctly. All right, the left tackle that was going up against Myles Garrett lost the rep and immediately started screaming, "Jordan, run!" like that happened at the National Football League level, the highest level of American football there is to be. A play happened where a man got beat immediately. A 6'5", 300-pound man, prime time athlete, got beat and started screaming, "Jordan, run!" That's how good Myles Garrett is. All right. Just some emphasis on that one. Really good. Former Defensive Player of the Year. He's going up against my guy, your guy, our guy, Penei Sewell, the best right tackle in the National Football League. Go argue with your mom about it. That's the matchup we get to see. And it's like, that's sick. That's amazing. That is the main event of the evening, but it goes on beyond that because you also have some rookie-on-rookie stuff too. All right? You get to see the Michigan man, Mason Graham, top 5 pick in the NFL draft, come up against our guy, Tate Ratledge, rookie-on-rookie crime. All right? Some hot crime, if you will. That's going to be a good one because Mason Graham's been tearing it up. I think he had like a 40% pressure rate last week. At least maybe the Browns did. I mean, Mason Graham has 5 pressures in the season. His pressure rate on the year from the interior defensive line is 7%. Not great, but not bad. But still, rookie on rookie, we get that this Sunday. All right, that's 2. It goes beyond that. A guy that's been kind of a journeyman around the NFL, who's played with some good defenses too, but has been on an absolute tear this season. In fact, he is second on the team in pressures. It's our fellow defensive tackle, Malik Collins, coming to town. And he's going to test your left guard and your center, Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany. And obviously, things are going to switch around too. Like, obviously, you're going to see Myles Garrett on Taylor Decker. You're going to see Malik Collins on Christian Mahogany, Graham Glasgow, all that stuff like that. But the main point is the Detroit Lions offensive line that feels like they've established themselves since that week 1 loss is going up against the best defensive line, I think the best front 7 in football. And like, I get there's the Giants. I get there's the Packers. The Packers are up there too. Don't get me wrong. We got to win the step for ourselves. Different situation though. We could throw that one to pass on. We could just men in black that one. But this Browns team really doesn't have an offense at all. They rank. Let me get the facts for you. I'm pretty positive they rank 30th in EPA, despite dropping back as often as they do because they're losing these games. The passing game also ranks 32nd in the league. It's not good, but They still played a very close game against the Bengals when Joe Burrow was healthy. That wasn't supposed to be the case. Uh, they lost to the Ravens, and that's fair. They got whooped accordingly, but they held Derrick Henry 20 yards. And then last week, they beat the Green Bay Packers, the same team that beat you. Like, not handily, but enough where you're kind of scratching your head, like, what is going on here? They sacked Jordan Love, according to PFF, if I'm not mistaken, like 6 times. It was bad. I mean, this is a really good defensive line. Really good defensive line. So they're carrying this really bad offense. This offense is allowed 31st in pressures. That's literally the second most in the National Football League with 53. However, only 6 sacks. That's kind of crazy. They're averaging like 2.6 seconds to the pressure, despite only being blitzed 17% of the time. I mean, you don't even have to blitz this team, this offense. It's how bad it is. But I mean, I'm just telling you how bad the offense is to up the defense. Like, that's the caliber of defense that's coming to town. They got Bud Dupree, Corey Schlesinger. I know you guys are the Bud Dupree, but if I'm not mistaken, that's another Michigan man. I could be way wrong on that one. I'm about to look that up. They also have a kid, Corey Schlesinger, that if you watched us cover the draft, we liked him a lot. Corey Schlesinger was a dog. And I think he went to the perfect place when you look at that setup they have. Oh, he went to Kentucky. I apologize. The Bud Dupree, that is. But the perfect setup with that defensive line in front of him where he could just free roam and just man, slam down. That sounds crazy. It's like a crash down on running backs, on quarterbacks, like whoever it is. Like, this is a fun matchup. A true litmus test for the Detroit Lions offensive line. Last week, I feel like the biggest test there was for the Detroit Lions defense. I think they passed that. I expected the offense to do what they had to do, especially with certain pieces missing on the Baltimore Ravens defense. But the defense, the Detroit Lions defense, limiting Lamar Jackson, who just doesn't have bad games. I mean, it's crazy to look at that game, and you'd think you'd watch Lamar Jackson have a bad game. You're like, damn, we beat them. We stopped Lamar Jackson. And then you go check the box score. And you see he's 21 to 27, 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's unreal. That's before we even get into the rushing part of things, too. But either way, matchup that I'm looking forward to, obviously, if you haven't gotten the point, is the Detroit Lions offensive line versus the Cleveland Browns front 7. Who I think wins that matchup? I don't know if you guys don't like my answer. I think that one might lean in favor of the Cleveland Browns just a little bit there. I mean, Myles Garrett is an absolute demon. Malik Collins has been an absolute demon. I could probably grab the tape at some point here and show you guys just Malik Collins is absolutely dominating Tyler Lindenbaum, who's widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best center in football since the retirement of Frank Ragnow and Jason Kelsey. I mean, that kid's good. He did the same thing against Elton Jenkins too, who's also one of the better interior offensive linemen in the National Football League. These guys are the real deal. Now, that doesn't mean the Detroit Lions lose this game though, because we saw last week what the Detroit Lions defense is very capable of against a very, very, very good Baltimore Ravens offense, against arguably the best quarterback in the league in Lamar Jackson. And they look damn good. So I think this matchup, the Detroit Lions do come out on top. I'll get that out the way right now. But I do feel like, I truly believe we'll score enough points to win the matchup regardless. But I know our defense is going to create extra opportunities, if not score the ball for themselves. I mean, you got 40-year-old Joe Flacco back there. The only other piece they're going to be able to put in a case of emergency is going to be Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And quite frankly, those guys just aren't ready to play the caliber of defense the Detroit Lions are bringing, and not in that moment. They're not preparing for it all week. And I know they are, but they're preparing for it in a backup role. The Detroit Lions defense wins this game for the Detroit Lions. And that's nothing against the offense. I think the offense can still be able to muster up to 17 points. I don't know, man. If they do, I mean, if the Lions offense goes crazy, I'm wrong. I'll happily admit that I'm wrong. I really will. But I just the way the genetic makeup of that team, actually, no. Not even, because I do think the offense will be able to get some off, because former Detroit Lions head coach Jim Schwartz is their defensive coordinator. He plays a lot of man coverage. You want a fun fact about Jared Goff and man coverage? It doesn't phase him not one bit, at least not this year. Against man coverage, Jared Goff has completed 19 of 23 passes for 168 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions this season. His completion percentage over expected is plus 21.4. His passing success rate in that situation against man coverage is 65%. And his expected points added per dropback is plus 0.86 when facing man coverage among all qualified passes, of course. The man coverage, maybe we do cover up this defense. But I just the main matchup for me is going to be the offensive line versus the defensive line. Personally, I'm going to give Penei the upper hand, maybe against Myles Garrett, simply because I'm hoping. Obviously, there's going to be some chips in those situations, and Penei goes against Aiden Hutchinson every week, all training camp. I mean, he's got to be ready to go against a guy like the caliber of Myles Garrett, right? I mean, the other matchup again, we talked about it. Mason Graham, Tate Ratledge, who has the upper hand in that one. Tate's been growing, getting better, like week by week. I mean, yeah, see it to see it. I mean, that's a tough one to call, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Tate Ratledge in that one. Now, I mean, Collins against Christian Mahogany. I got to be completely honest with you. I mean, that one is Malik Collins. I got to find that clip for you guys, just so you just don't think I'm just being crazy. I mean, this guy is legit. All right, the file is too big to send, so I'm not going to send you that one. But I did post it on my Twitter, so I can pull it up on there. How's that? I'll do that for you. But heading over to the defense side of the ball, like I said, the Baltimore Ravens offense is actual poop. I mean, it is bad. I think their best skilled player is probably going to be Quinshawn Judkins, who is a rookie that needs like a pretty solid offensive line in front of him to do some damage with. And our Detroit Lions defense just held Derrick Henry to, was it 50 yards? And really like probably less per carry. 50 yards and a fumble, by the way. Shout out to Aiden Hudson. But I mean, he really just broke off that one big run to even help that happen. I think that was like a 16-yard touchdown. So like take that away. Let's see what it was play after play after play. Obviously, we were shutting that situation down. The wide receivers, I don't think the amount of time they're going to need to get rid of the ball, which is going to be pretty quick here, in my opinion, with our pass rush, the way it looked last game at least. I don't know the wide receivers able to get open that quick. I mean, who could you really name off the top of your head on that team's offensive side of the ball? Not named Jerry Jeudy. I'm talking about wide receivers, by the way. I can give you the names. I mean, it's so bad. Their leading pass catchers are tight ends. I mean, Harold Fannin, rookie. David Njoku, tight end. Cedric Tillman, he's a wide receiver trying to grow up there. I remember they signed Isaiah Bond last minute. Maybe he's going to, he missed camp, obviously. Not obviously, if you guys don't know, he had a legal situation to get taken care of. But he got signed to the Cleveland Browns now. And so he wasn't there for training camp. The Detroit Lions defense is going to be all over this one. The type of intensity that Kelvin Shepard coaches with, the type of intensity that Dan Campbell coaches with, like this, there's no trap game for this version of the Detroit Lions. Yeah, in 23 and 22, as we were molding ourselves into this version of the Detroit Lions, you may have caught us slipping every once in a while, but this version is just not going to happen. I know week one did happen, but I think that's more on miscommunications, having a younger interior offensive lineman. And I think we've ironed those things out. Like we don't get caught lacking like this. I don't think we're going to be overlooking the Cleveland Browns. And so like the same ferocity you saw the Detroit Lions defense attack Lamar Jackson with, they're now bringing a 40-year-old Joe Burrow. Give me the Lions. Now the spread in this one's 8.5. I might take it. Am I crazy? Comment down below. Am I crazy to think the Detroit Lions could cover that spread? I certainly think they could. And again, I'm expecting like situation, like the scoring situations, the defense can create these for us. Real quick, by the way, I was also just stalling that entire time to find this video for you. So let me get this for you. This is Malik Collins, the other defensive tackle on the Cleveland Browns. Let me get this over here. Share screen. Boom. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. All right, this specific play I want you guys to check out here. All right, because this is Tyler Lindenbaum, like I said, one of the better centers in the National Football League. Check him out. Number 64, 96 is Malik Collins. I mean, look how bad that is. It looked like if you ever like walk into your brother's house or your whoever's house, and there's a bunch of kids, or, a child's birthday party, and all the kids are running all over you, and you're reaching back. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's that's what that was. Forced an incompletion on Lamar Jackson. All right, here it goes again. Ooh, ooh, what? Come on. Now, obviously, that part of the Ravens' offensive line is not Tyler Linderbaum, so that we kind of saw for ourselves in that situation. But this guy can play. And I think he's going to make it where JG struggles the most is that interior pressure. That's where he gets a little wonky, does a little some weird stuff. But again, we have our running backs. We have the play action to set things up. Like, our offense will be fine. I think we are at least going to put up 17 to 21 points for sure, without a doubt. But I think what carries us to this one, the staple of like why we won that game, is probably going to be the defense. And I think it's just from creating extra opportunities for us, whether it be sacks, interceptions, keeping the field short, whatever it may be. Players to watch in this one. So last week, after the Detroit Lions beat the Baltimore Ravens, Dan Campbell gave out 2 game balls, one to Dave Montgomery and one to Al-Quadin Muhammad. My prediction for game balls in this one will be offensively. I'm gonna go David Montgomery again. Is that wild to say? Nah. Yeah. I'm gonna go David Montgomery. The other one name I was thinking about there for the offense side of the ball was probably going to be JMO, just because you saw the rookie Matthew Golden get a little bit active last week against these guys. He hasn't had the greatest season, but he's more of a speed surge type wide receiver. So it's clear this defense was struggling with him a little bit. Well, obviously, we have Jameson Williams, who is probably the fastest human in the NFL as we speak. If it's not Tyreek Hill, it's Jameson Williams. So I think that could give them some matchups. I just don't know if JG's going to have the time in the pocket to go and collect on that. But maybe he will with enough play actions. I'm going to stick with Monty. I just think he sets the tone. I think he's more than just a power back, if he's listening. I don't want to get beat up for that one. And I think that's what we're going to need in this one. A lot of this is just true, like black and blue, just AFC, NFC North football. It's going to be that type of game, in my opinion. And I think that is Monty, in my opinion. He's just that grit. He embodies it. Don't get me wrong. Ja is obviously still Ja, and he's going to do his stuff, and he's going to do his thing. But Monty is the guy I think can carry the load for the Detroit Lions in this one. On defense, I'm going to go Brian Branch. I mean, their best pass catchers are their tight ends, right? So you're going to try to get cute, try to throw it over the middle right there. That's where Brian Branch lives. Where else Brian Branch lives? In your nightmares, if you're a quarterback. He's just that good. He's going to be all over the place. I'm ordering a Brian Branch jersey as soon as I hop off this stream, matter of fact. But do me a favor. Comment down below your score predictions for the Detroit Lions versus the Cleveland Browns. Let me know who you think is going to get a game ball. Actually, do me a favor. You guys comment down below who you think is going to give a game ball. And if you are correct, and I can check and see if you edited. If you are correct in your assumption of who wins the game ball on offense and defense, we'll send you some merch. I'll make that happen for you. But you got to comment down below before the game. Yeah, Detroit Lions. Give me the Detroit Lions this one. 24-10. If that. All right. Not much to break down this one. Detroit Lions going to win this game all day. Until next time, I'm easy. Smash the like button, and I'm out.